Long before the Kamba people scattered across the vast plains of Ukambani, their world was cradled by the hand of Mulungu, the great creator who dwelled high above the clouds. Mulungu was a benevolent god, gracing the land with lush forests, rolling hills, and secret life-giving springs that bubbled up from the earth. Among all these sacred places, none was more revered than Enzo Hill. It was a place of power, a bridge between the mortal world and the spiritual realm. Here, the first ancestors, Masaku and Suyokamau, received their visions, their wisdom, and their guidance from the heavens. Our story begins with a young boy named Mutua. He wasn't a warrior or a chieftain's son, but a simple herder with a heart full of curiosity and a mind brimming with dreams. More than anything, Mutua longed to be a great seer, to walk in the footsteps of the legendary prophetess Siokima. They said she could speak directly with the spirits of the hills, that she could decipher the whispers of the wind and read the secrets written in the stars. Mutua spent his days guiding his family's cattle, but his thoughts were always on Enzawi Hill, imagining the mysteries it held. One evening, as the sun bled orange and purple across the sky, Mutua found himself resting near the base of the sacred hill. The air grew still, the usual chorus of crickets falling silent. Suddenly, a low, mysterious humming began to resonate from deep within the rocks. It was a sound he felt more than heard, a vibration that traveled up through the soles of his feet and settled in his chest. The ground beneath him trembled, not violently, but with a deep, rhythmic pulse, like the slow heartbeat of the earth itself. As his eyes widened in a mix of fear and awe, a soft light began to glow from the stone face of the hill. The light coalesced, taking on a former, shimmering, ancestral figure. Its features indistinct, but its presence overwhelming. The spirit's voice was not a sound that traveled through the air, but a thought that blossomed directly in Mutua's mind. The bond is breaking, the voice echoed, filled with an ancient sorrow. The covenant between the Kamba people and this land, it is fracturing, and as quickly as it had appeared, the figure dissolved back into the stone, leaving Mucha alone in the sudden, heavy silence. Mukwa scrambled back to his village, his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. He tried to explain what he had seen, what he had heard, but the elders dismissed it as a boy's fanciful dream. A story spun from too much time alone in the sun. But soon, the spirit's warning began to manifest in terrifying ways. The land itself seemed to be turning against them. It started with the cattle, a prize bull. The pride of the village vanished without a trace from a well-guarded pen. Then more followed, swallowed by the night, leaving no tracks, no sign of struggle. Panic began to creep into the community. Next, the sacred springs, the very lifeblood of Ukambani, started to fail. One by one, they dwindled to a muddy trickle and then dried up completely, their once lush banks cracking under the relentless sun. The people's thirst grew, and so did their fear. A strange sickness then fell upon the strongest warriors. They would return from patrol, their faces pale, complaining of haunting whispers they heard in the wind, promises of despair, echoes of forgotten battles. They grew weak, their muscles wasting away, their spirits dimming. The healers were baffled. No herb, no ritual could touch this affliction. Perhaps the most chilling sign was the transformation of the forests surrounding Nzawi Hill. Overnight, the vibrant green canopy turned a sickly ashen grey. The leaves became brittle, crumbling to dust at the slightest touch. The woods, once a source of food, medicine and shelter, now stood as a silent grey monument to a dying land. The council of elders gathered, their faces etched with worry. They spoke in hushed tones of a forgotten curse, a prophecy made by Masaku himself at the dawn of their people. They whispered a name that had not been uttered in generations, Mumbo wa Muto, the spirit of the forest. An ancient, primordial entity, it was said to be the guardian of the land's original purity. The elders believed the spirit had returned, awakened by the people's disrespect and neglect, to reclaim the land that humans had corrupted. The bond was indeed breaking. As chaos descended upon his people, Matua found himself drawn back to Nzawi Hill. The visions came to him now not just in dreams, but in waking moments, flashes of Sayokamo, her eyes burning with intensity, beckoning him toward the hill's hidden depths. He realized with a jolt of certainty that he was the key, for reasons he couldn't understand. He alone could find the entrance to the secret chamber beneath Nzawi Hill, the sanctum where the truths of the Kamba origin and the sacred oath of the ancestors remained sealed. His destiny was set. Guided by the spectral image of Sayokamo, Mutua knew he had to embark on a perilous journey. He had to cross the now barren lands of Ukambani, a landscape scarred by drought and fear. His path would not be easy. He would have to face malevolent trickster spirits like the Ami, beings of chaos who delighted in leading travelers astray with illusions and false promises. He would need to delve into the history of his own people, uncovering long-buried truths about the formation of the first Kamba clans and the promises they made to the land. But the greatest danger did not lie in the parched earth or the spectral world. The ancestral spirit had warned him of a betrayal, a rot that had taken root within his own community. Someone, driven by greed or a lust for power, was actively working to sever the connection to the old ways, perhaps even aiding the vengeful spirit of the forest. Mucha would have to be wary of everyone, for the face of a friend could hide the heart of an enemy. As the shadow of Mumbawa Mutatu spread, stretching its grey fingers across the hills, Mucha stood at a crossroads. He held the fate of the Kamba people in his hands. Should he fight to restore the old ways, to honor the ancient oaths and appease the enraged spirits? Or was it time for a new path, a new covenant that might save his people but would change their identity forever? The choice was his, and either path could lead to salvation, or to the final, irreversible breaking of the Kamba destiny. His journey into the heart of the hill, and into the heart of his own people's history, had just begun.